passionate about Cleveland sports.
He's going in! Touchdown!
Browns, Indians, Cavs, the Big Ten, and more.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again!
Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond.
A swing and a drive! To deep right!
Here are your hosts, Andy Billman and Jarid Watson.
And we are live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Hello and welcome. Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jarid Watson, and this podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out. Original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Hey, today we're going to preview the Browns possibly having a winning record after Sunday as they play the Washington football club. What are we calling them these days? In Cleveland. The Browns are running a run-first team, obviously, which we talk about all the time, and everybody seems to be on board, and Cleveland will have Conklin, Kevin Johnson back, maybe Mac Wilson, so there's a lot of good things going on there. I'm pleasantly optimistic about the defense finding ways to improve after this 10-day break too. So we'll talk about some of that.
I think that's great. Not so much, but I think that's great.
I just think that there are some things that could.
You can only go up.
There's going to be adjustments. You
can only go up.
Yeah, so we'll leave it there. You're right there. Special teams, on the other hand. Yeah. Hey, the Indians, though, red hot. And, of course, I didn't watch any of them because I spent the week in Hocking Hills, which, by the way, beautiful, beautiful land there in Ohio. Oh, goodness. I love Hocking Hills. Canoeing, fishing with the kids, stayed in a cabin for a week. So I've been out of touch with everything in the sports world, not just because I was escaping it all, but because the internet at the cabin didn't work. That sucked. And my phone had no signal. So I don't know. I guess the Indians won with in walk-off fashion a whole bunch of times while I've been gone. Andy is going to have to update me on all of this stuff. And we're going to break down what's ahead for the Indians as they're, like I said, smoking hot and ready to roll into this postseason. And then finally, we're going to do a little news from the Cavs to end the show. And SEC football is back. But first, it's your run game first. How about run game only? Cleveland Browns.
Pass what?
Cleveland Browns.
Let's lead off by saying it's great to have Jarid Watson back. Yes, he was on vacation, but there's been a lot of stuff that Jared's been going on in his world. He's been going through some family stuff, and so it's great to have Mr. Watson back in the house. It's good seeing him, and it's good to have him back in his presence. It's been
Also had to prior to the Hocking Hills trip say goodbye to a friend who passed away unexpectedly.
That's what I was referencing in that.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you, Andy. That's whatever. We'll move on from that.
Yeah.
I send all my love to them and we'll continue to do so because I just need to say this one thing just to remind folks that it's easy to show love and kindness and all that stuff in the middle of a funeral and when things are tough. But it's the couple of months afterwards that you got to make sure that you're checking in and taking care of those folks who have lost, their spouse, their father, their loved ones. It's because for them, it's an everyday thing and it will never go away. So that's all I'll say there. Cool.
It's great to have Mr. Watson back. We missed him, and it's a great week to go into with the Browns at Washington FC. Yes, the total love. This has become one of the most interesting transitions I've seen in the Browns fan base, where last year at this time, it was all about three things. 6, Landry, OBJ. 6, Landry, OBJ. The fast gas motion of all this offensive stuff, and it's all great. It is interesting. After one victory across the board, we're going to go across. This has now become a run-first team, not just for Jared and I, who've been talking about this for months. Not just for Kevin Stefanski, not just for Alex Van Pelt, but even Odell Beckham Jr., and we're going to lead off with that, recognizing that, quote, for me, one of my biggest growths has come in acceptance in a sense for me knowing it is probably not going to be that kind of season with my huge numbers. Like I say, my goal is always to be my goal, and I don't feel like I'm ever going to fall short of it. And I'm learning in acceptance to set new goals, end quote. He's referencing he knows this team is a run-first team. It's amazing, Jared. After one win, how this has all changed.
Hey, and I'll say this, a quote like that just reminds me, don't sleep on Odell. don't think that means he might not get the numbers. Okay, but when the ball goes his way, watch out, because he's still Odell Beckham Jr. In space, something big can happen. So I get that. I love that. And I'm glad that he's accepted that. I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, again, let's just talk about it. It's probably the best backfield in National Football League. And let's just go ahead and top that off with the fact that the offensive line has been third ranked in the first 2 weeks of the season in the NFL, which that bodes well for Baker if he can find his poise in the pocket, if he can relax a little bit in the pocket. I still don't think they're rolling him out enough, but nonetheless, he shouldn't have to roll out with this offensive line unless he's worried about getting the ball batted down. Again, though, back to what we're talking about: the run game.
It is a Chubb and Hunt show. It is the Chubb and Hunt show. And again, I thought.
Are you on board with Chunt, by the way?
No.
I gotta check. I'm not either.
No. I won't even say the word.
It's dangerous, right? It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. I don't think.
I feel like Ken Carman likes living dangerously because
he does. He's a
fan of Chunt.
He and I text often, and I don't think that is a wise term. I'll leave it there. It's too close to something else. Look, all that to be said, here's another quote from Beckham. Having a game within a game, working on a release during a run game, working something else, a new goal, aside from winning always, end quote. You can tell he's really talking. And he talks about Nick Chubb being number one rusher in the league and Hunt too. This whole team and the city and the Browns fandom, it has changed. The most popular player on this team is probably Nick Chubb. And it's not just on the team. I think it's across everything. And it's amazing. And when we talked to Hayden Grove last year after the loss, I think the best player in his team is Nick Chubb. And
we had a feeling this was coming.
I was surprised by Hayden's reaction as I go, from what I see, I think Nick Chubb's the guy. And here's the thing that everybody's been alluding to, but needs to be alluded to here too. What's great about this is the way they're running Chubb early and bringing in Hunt late as your closer. It is going to be the Browns are actually going to be in a good position to win because of that. When you are bringing in a running back who might be only touching the ball 10 or less times going into the fourth quarter, it's fresh legs and it's downhill. Mm-hmm. And it just changes everything in a game. It makes the game it's suffocating. If you're an opponent, I laugh all people want to, you actually can't be behind the Browns because it's not going to be easy to come back.
No.
If you have fresh legs and a running back who's not just an average running back, who's a very talented player, that brings a whole new challenge to a defense. It's exciting. It's easy to root for. And people, the vibe I've loved about this week is I'll say it again, everyone across the board is on it. There's not someone else who's like saying, oh, it should be Mayfield. I'm not hearing that. It's all about Chubb and Hunt.
And let's talk about these two things too. One is you're seeing firsthand that being a run-first team and running the ball will still get you the points you need to win a game in the NFL. Consistently win.
Yes.
Because I talked about this before the season started, that this offense should be putting up 35. They should be. They should be when you have those guys. So that's that right there. Don't try to think that because you're not air raid offense that you're not going to put up points. You're going to put up points, and they just proved that 9 days ago. Where are we at? Yeah, 9 days ago. That's that. Go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
If you can't stop something, why not do it? I mean, it's so obvious. It's again, Odell Beckham Jr. is announcing it, and I thought that was okay. I want to give credit to Odell Beckham Jr. That was not just a random comment. You could tell he was really well thought out by his comments the other day. And I think it really says a lot about him because he's recognizing I cannot have the passing game or myself or anybody else get in the way of this. This is something special. Now, all this to be said, in week 2, it is still going into week 3 now. It is still just a hype machine. They have to prove it in the next 14 games.
Must.
But for Odell Beckham Jr., I think this is actually the best leadership I've seen from him yet.
Yeah.
For him to be able to give credit. Another quote from him. Quote, I tell Chubb every day, I owe you, end quote. It just says a lot about Odell Beckham Jr. It says a lot about respect and his understanding of the situation around him. And I just want to give him props. That is he's saying that actually allows this to really happen and takes pressure off others and in that locker room. He's presenting this to say, I get it. I totally get it. Now, do the Browns have to keep winning for this way? I'm not naive. Yes. But if they do, Odell's on board, and that's great.
Andy, I think Odell also recognizes that this running game is what is going to open up the opportunities for him, which is what we have been saying for month after month after month after month. If you want Odell Beckham to be involved in the game in a positive way, you need to have a run offense like this. You have to with this Browns team.
Yes.
You have to right now, especially with Baker Mayfield. Because right now, what I want, and God knows that people hate this term sometimes, I need Baker to be a quality game manager. I need Baker not to make mistakes with the ball.
Yep.
Those are the only two things I need out of him. That's it.
I said that on Thursday night after the win. Game manager. Being a game manager goes a long way in this space, and that's not a negative thing.
No.
Let's actually get to him.
It'll give him the time to develop that he needs. It'll slow the game down for him.
I actually want to get to that. Then let's get back to this. We have saw this in 2018 when Baker's pass attempts is 25 or less, or 25 to 30 at max. You're going. Anytime it goes above the high 20s and the low 30s, it starts getting more and more risky.
We saw it in the first week of the game.
We saw it. And that is not a diss against Baker. Here's the one thing I'm going to say in fairness, too, about Mayfield. This is only year 3. It's a big year. We all know this stuff. But if he keeps winning games, it is going to bring a new presence to this team and a new hype and a new everything else. And by the way, there is nothing wrong. Nothing in the rule book says you have to be Aaron Rodgers. Nothing in the rule book says you have to be like Joe Montana or whatever. You can be a Terry Bradshaw, who actually reminds me a lot of Mayfield. You throw the bomb 3 or 4 times a game. You do your thing. You manage the town around you, and you hand off the ball to Franco Harris. It's the same thing here. Hand the ball off to Chubb and Hunt. Make 3 or 4 bombs down the field. In this case, it's not Lynn Swan. It's Odell Beckham Jr. and Landry. And just from there, hold back. And that's what he needs to do. And again, for everybody out there who says that, it doesn't mean Baker Mayfield stinks. It's actually going to make him into a good quarterback. And by the way, it will actually make him into a great quarterback, in my opinion, if this stays on the rails.
With the talent on this team and in the backfield, why should it all be on Baker?
That's my point. Right.
It should not be all on Baker. He needs to develop into the role of leader and field general and all those good things that we expect out of a quarterback as they age in the NFL.
Yes.
But for the love of God, this is a guy who might not even have survived it. Still, we have questions throughout this season. He needs to get through these seasons.
Yes.
Get through the past of having 4 fucking coaches already.
Again,
of having these different regimes come in and out and have somebody there who is going to be stable and able to help bring him up, help raise his level of play, help teach him the ways, and take that all off of his shoulders. Because this is a guy who came into Cleveland, he's thinking, I'm Baker Mayfield. I know what I did in Oklahoma, and I know what I want to do here in Cleveland. Look, I get it, Baker. We want you to do it too, but it's not all on you.
Well, he's changed. I will be fair. He's really changed. Mayfield gets it. Again, reference Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah.
If game manager is not a negative term. It's like the term criticism. Criticism is not a negative term. Criticism is trying to help improve the product. In this case here, a game manager will make him successful. And if he wins and wins big, that is all that matters. And that's what I'm seeing right now with this team. It's going to make him better. It's going to make this team better because we know in Mayfield, we saw it last week. We saw it in 18. We saw it in bits and parts in 19. When he has to make a big throw, he can. Yeah. Is there going to be a spot where Mayfield's going to have to lead the team back? Absolutely, of course. And we'll get to that moment. That's going to be a big moment for him. But in most of these games, when it comes to wins and losses for me, it's going to be about getting a lead early, game managing, and giving the ball to Hunt late to close out the game. And I think if you do that, you're going to go 8-8, 9-7. And then you're going to have those games where Mayfield's going to have to elevate the team just a little bit more. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I think this will allow him to win a couple of those games. And Jared, if he can just win 1 or 2 of those games, now you're talking 9-7, 10-6. And that's where this season comes down to. And it's nicely laid out now for this team. I just like how this team has adapted this. I know Stefanski and Van Pelt pushed back a little bit, which they have to in the press, saying, hey, we're still going to throw the ball. And they need to do that, not just to announce that to the team, but also to announce that to other opponents, that they're not – because you don't want to give them this impression so people load the box.
Yeah, fine, whatever. I don't even care. Load the box.
Well, no, by the way, load the box is right. There's something else I want to – right, exactly. Good fucking luck. I want to mention something else on this team because I was questioning this and I've been proven wrong, and I'm happy. Not proven wrong, but my doubts have been washed away. Jedrick Wills, and again, it's not a sexy possession. He is having an excellent first 2 games, and he needs to be brought up more. Yeah. I know everybody's on Conklin, but, and that's fair. Jedrick Wills is really playing well. Alex Van Pelt, quote, he has really stepped up. I'm proud of his progress he has made through training camp. He's had some rough days there, and he did. We got that, and I'll go into the rest of the quote later. We felt that when you're reading quotes going into the season, you could tell Jedrick Wills was not having the greatest of camps.
Right.
But for this kid to turn on, by the way, he was a right tackle at Bama, coming to left tackle. I don't want to undersell this. This has been a great draft pick. Now it's only 2 games in, and my God, everybody. I'm going to talk about I'm fucking tired of hearing about Chase Young. I'm going to get to him in a second. He's very good, but I'm fucking tired of it. I'm not a Buckeye fan, so I don't give a fuck how good Chase Young is.
Easy.
I care about Myles Garrett.
Easy now.
I don't give a fuck about Chase Young. I give a fuck about Myles Garrett. Anyways, get into that in a second. Tired of hearing about Chase Young. Anyways, and he's very good. But why can't we talk? Anyway, I'll get that in a second. Jedrick Wills, though, is having a very good year, and I think it's great. And I just want to bring him up because he has kind of fallen back a little bit because of everything else with Chubb and Hunt. Jedrick Wills is a big reason why this team's doing well and the running game's being so successful. Mm-hmm. And he needs to get props. Mm-hmm. Jedrick Wills needs to get props.
We talked about it, Andy. We knew that plug and play with him was going to be a very high risk. It was a high risk maneuver for this new regime coming in. Even after the pick, you were excited when you saw the pick. You were excited to have him on your team. And then the reality set in of, boy, this is a young kid, rookie, plug and play, has to be ready day one on the opposite side of the ball or on the opposite side of the line that he's used to. That's no easy task.
Yeah.
Well, there he is, killing it.
Killing it. No,
I'll take that bright spot.
No,
that whole offensive line has been a bright spot, and it just, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We were wondering how good they were going to be. And so far, you can see it, especially, the way that this run game, it allows this run game to flourish. It allows Baker to breathe. Thank God.
There's 4 or 5 members on the Browns offense who has a chance 2 games in, long ways to go, to probably make the Pro Bowl. Batonio, definitely Jedrick Wills if he keeps playing like this, and Chubb and Hunt. And you're probably going to have others as the season comes up, but it's just amazing. And again, none of those names are Landry, OBJ, or Mayfield. It's interesting, and it's great to see. The other big story this week was players coming back. Kevin Johnson from lacerated liver, he is back. He's going to be playing, quote, excited to have Kevin back, Stefanski says. Another quote from him, quote, Stefanski being, quote, he's looked really good throughout the week, and then we've just got to be mindful this is a first football action. He hasn't played these last 2 weeks, so we'll monitor how he's doing, end quote. It's a big deal here because it came out about, I think it was Wednesday, that Denzel Ward, who, fantastic talent, we prop him. He is a great player, in my opinion. But he does have injury concerns. He does have a groin injury. About that, quote from Stefanski, we've got a few hours here to see how Ward does and then make a determination before the game. We will use all that remaining hours before the game to make a decision. Yeah. that sounds very questionable.
So when I talked early on in the show regarding the defense and hoping for some improvements here, it really does rely on Ward, not playing. He's got to be in the game, and so this secondary can't afford to not have him out there.
I think he's a big difference maker. I think he not only makes the team better, I think he makes Terrence Mitchell better.
And Terrence Mitchell has been
Good. I'm not as high as others are on him, but he's been good. But right. I really think it makes a big difference when Denzel Ward's out there. I think Terrence Mitchell gets exposed more.
And the other issue that I think is going to help Myles Garrett when we jump to the defensive line on a defensive side of the ball is finally just kind of being done with. Are we done with Vernon?
I am.
Yeah, and what I can say is his replacement is
Porter
kick some ass. He's a beast. He's a beast.
On Thursday on the Facebook Live I did after the game, Porter Gustin stood out. He stood out in preseason. And this kid, I learned some things about him this week. He played for USC. He's done a lot of different things in his career where he's had some injury things, whatever else, but he's healthy now. This kid he was recruited hard by Urban Meyer. Went to SC. So this is not like an under radar player coming in from Division III school. This is a kid who had a lot of promise going in. I just think seeing more Gustin makes a lot of sense. I thought he played really well on Thursday. Yep. And I can tell you he did too. I just thought he really, really stood out on tape. Porter Gustin, the more is the better. Olivier Vernon, I hate saying this. Honestly, when he comes back, I would say Porter Gustin should start and Claiborne should be coming in third. And your backup now is Olivier Vernon. I really believe that. And Vernon, by the way, is out. He is not going to be playing this week. Jacob Phillips is also out. Greedy Williams is out. Boy, Greedy's it's an injury thing, and, I just hope to see him back. Another murky start. I mean, I know he's hurt. Yeah. He's going to have to prove a lot in a short. I think there's a lot more pressure on Greedy Williams than what's being led on to. I really do. Now, he has to get healthy first. And then I think probably the bigger, we're kind of ignoring the headline. Mack Wilson is supposed to be playing here and there. There is no question through 2 games. The tight end on passing has been exposed again. And Mack Wilson will definitely help there. That is a big deal. He needs to be playing. I know Tony Grossi brought this up a lot this week, so I will echo what he's saying. I think Harrison, the safety who we got from Jacksonville, needs to start playing more. Need to see him out there. We need players who can make a difference in the pass game. I mean, it's just that cut and dry. You need players to come in and play.
Yeah. The Bengals shouldn't have been able to put up as many points as they did.
Only thing I will say, and I'm going to go this detour rabbit hole real quick, and I'm going to come right back to the Browns. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow is going to be a star.
Yeah, I know.
He is really good.
He wears it well, man. He does.
He looks the part. He looks really, really, really good. Yep. It's going to be annoying as a Browns fan. This week is all I've been hearing about is Chase Young, and well-deserved. Chase Young is a great player. He's on his way already 2 games in, and the defensive line has been really pumped up. And by the way, as it should, the Redskins have been drafted. I think I don't have it in front of me, Jared, but I know in that front 4, all of them are early round picks, and most of them in the first round. So the strength of the Washington defense the strength of the Washington FC team is the defensive line, and it's particularly Chase Young. He's going to be going up against Wills. We just pumped up Wills. It's a great matchup for Wills this week. It's a big deal. Wills is going to be going up against Chase Young, and there'll be put a lot of tension on there. So Wills is going to have his first big profile game. Because it really gives him a chance. And the one thing that I found interesting, Jared, is I felt like reading through press quotes and stuff, people are actually putting Chase Young on the same level as Myles Garrett, and some maybe think he might be better than Myles. I thought that was way too soon, but maybe that's just me.
I think it is too soon because there were, and I might get corrected by some Buckeye fans out there, but there were times where I thought, where's Chase Young been all day?
Yeah. Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan,
oh goodness.
Michigan.
Where has
and they won that game?
Where has Chase Young been?
Yeah. Yeah. I just think this. I think Chase Young's had a wonderful start to his career. I was being funny earlier. I just don't like how Garrett's on the Browns and he doesn't get enough. I mean, look, this is the line from, I think it was a plain dealer. Myles Garrett is already chasing a young edge rusher for the NFL Defensive Player of the Year, really, after 2 games? There's lines like that? I just think, I get it. Chase Young's had a great start to his season, but are we really to that point where we think Garrett is chasing Chase Young? I don't know. That's kind of what that line's alluding to. I just think it's way too soon to be saying stuff like that.
Well, I will say this too. Myles Garrett does have to elevate his play.
He had the biggest play in that game on Thursday. That strip sack changed that whole game.
Correct.
A huge moment. And he's been getting
but consistently, he's got to be there.
In that game last time, I saw the same thing that I heard others echo. The Ravens game's one thing. I don't think he played well. But in the Bengals game, he was getting doubled and triple teamed at times.
Right.
And that's why when Porter got in the game, you saw the difference in that defensive line. You could see it like that. Like it was like lightning in a bottle. They are moving Myles Garrett around to try to get him in places where he's open, which they're going to have to do. All that to be said, I hear, by the way, I've been harder on Garrett than most others. So I get it. I will just say, here's what I loved about Garrett. When the moment was right, and that game, when Chubb got stopped on the 1 yard line, you could feel that game starting to slip away a little bit. And him stopping, stripping, putting the ball down the ground, being recovered by the Browns, next play, bam, touchdown. It changed the whole tone of that game. It became, at least in my book, I'm like, I know we're going to win. We just got to figure it out and navigate. That's what we need Myles Garrett to do. That was a Lawrence Taylor LT big time play in that spot. Yeah. Huge play.
And Myles will have his days where he'll have 3 or 4.
He will.
You know.
Again, he made I don't care. We can have debate. People can come on and text and tweet whatever they want to do on the show and tell me I'm wrong. That play won the game. That strip play won the game. It settled the game down. It allowed the Browns to score in that next play, and you could feel the air coming out of the Bengals. It was that quick.
Are the Bengals a 6-win team this year?
They have a big game in Philly, and in my pick segment, I will be alluding to. I might be taking the striped kitty cats. I think the Bengals are a year and a half away. Meaning, I think next year they go in that muddled zone. The thing that I would be concerned about the Bengals is that defense is alarmingly bad.
Yeah,
and that offensive line is not good.
That's never good for a young quarterback.
No, because it's shameful that team did not run the ball more against the Browns. I mean, it just was shameful. Mixon owns the Browns, and not on Thursday. Not on Thursday. Couldn't do anything on the ground. Back to this game, the other thing that should be brought up for all the talk about defensive line, they do not stop the run. They are only 21st in the NFL in rushing. They are first against the pass. Note to everyone, I'm sure the Browns have this note being an analytical team. That tees up for what the Browns do best. They are 21st against the run, first against the pass. So this defensive line, hey, against the pass all day, the numbers say it, analytics say it, but they are not slowing down the run. So it should play well to this team. Now, we've been focusing on the Brown side of the ball. Let's quickly get to the FC side with Dwayne Haskins. It's funny. The Redskins are the Ohio State of where the LSU is to the Browns in this team. There's a lot of Buckeyes playing for the Redskins right now. I'm not the Redskins, Washington FC right now. Haskins has not. I've read an article in The Athletic, and you can tell there is, and from the Washington perspective, not from the Browns, you can tell there's concern about Haskins. You can tell that fan base is starting to get antsy. And right now, here's the alert to all of us. Washington does not have a good offense. So if they move the ball down the field, we now have a new topic to talk about next week. Because Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, given. Joe Burrow, given. This should not be this game where we're giving 30-plus points again.
No, and turnover should be in play. Yeah.
Up and up.
Yeah.
I'm just saying right now, if Haskins and this team gets into a groove, you can panic a little bit.
Is it fair to say that this should be an easy game? And I don't want to say easy. This should be a clear Browns victory. If it goes the way that it should go. Here's what
I like about this. I guess I'll tee it up first. I like the Browns in this game. I like how everybody's talking up Chase Young. I was surprised. Everyone talking up Chase Young going in this game. By the way, he's deserved it. I'm not saying he hasn't, but it's almost like they think Chase Young and Myles Garrett are on the same level. I'm like, that's interesting. To someone like me, I just think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I do think the Browns are feeling good. It helps when you get a Thursday night game and Washington's coming from Arizona back home, back to Cleveland. That's a long week for a young team. Yep. I also agree with the young writer at The Athletic who's following the Redskins. This is starting to become a big week here for Haskins. Haskins has to start playing better. This team has to start scoring more. I do think the Browns, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think the Browns get up early. This has been a big problem for the Washington FC club. I'm actually going to take this as one of my picks. I take the Browns are giving 7 points. I would give the points away. I think the Browns win 27-10. I think they actually control the game. I think they control the tempo. And again, this is not other teams. The Browns can milk the clock late. I think they win 27-10. I do want to get to one thing about the Browns, but you give your prediction first. I want to talk about it.
I was leaning more 31-17. I think that there's going to be some more points scored just because of the garbage time and because, I mean, it might even be 31-21.
Yeah.
I think that Washington will score more points than they should. Because I still just do not trust this Browns defense. But then again, a verified blowout wouldn't surprise me either. But Browns are putting up 31 and 31-17 is my call.
Yep. So that's a prediction. Jared's 1-1. I'm 2-0 so far in picks. Did not like picking the Ravens game week 1, but that's whatever. One thing before we get to the rest of the slate.
I just refuse to do it. I don't care.
No. By the way, that's why we all love Jared Watson. There's one other thing I want to get to real quick. And I meant to put in a rundown. Special teams has to start playing better. No more kickoffs on the sidelines. No more missed tackles. The Bengals.
Can we stop giving giving teams the ball on the 40-45-yard line? Ugh. What the hell?
Every time the Bengals had the ball outside the 25, they scored. Folks, the special teams have to play better. Parkey had a good start. He made all of his extra points, which, by the way, says a lot. Because we couldn't make any extra points with Cyber. I still think that was the correct move. But special teams too with the Browns returning kicks has to start getting better. And Mike Prefer talked about it, and you can tell he's concerned. Across the board so far, special teams have been unspecial. That has to get better. You can get away with it probably weeks against Washington FC. As you go on, you have to start getting better in special teams. Can't believe I'm doing this speech already.
Punch in the face rather quickly. It sets the tone for the entire drive. Andy, it's been painful all last season and already 2 games into this season. The special teams
across the board,
they need a fire lit under their ass. Period.
Across the board.
Yeah.
Kicking, receiving, kicks. It's been draining. Draining. The only thing is Parkey made all 5 extra points. And that to me is a given. So I call that an okay. Special teams has to get better. Have to start. And by the way, we've heard all these great things about Prefer. I'm not putting this on Prefer yet, but he's got to start getting this thing improved.
Yeah.
This has been
the thing with Parkey. Yeah. What we're talking about there is, okay, thank you. You did your job.
Yes, you did your job. You're
not getting an award.
No.
You did your job.
It doesn't mean special teams has gotten better. It just means we've gone to, we're hitting the Mendoza line. I mean, that's where we're really at. I mean, that's where we're at on this team. It's like, we made our extra points. Yay. Like, come on. We're better than that. I want to be better than that. All right. Here's my other picks for this week. This slate is the first slate that jumped out to me. Very good competition games. If you want some games to circle that no one's going to probably be paying attention to in Cleveland, it's at 1:00. Titans and Vikings. The Vikings are 0-2. They have to win that game.
Yeah.
Texans at Steelers. Texans are 0-2. They have to win that game. There's some games like that this week where it's like, boy, they have to win that game. Lions at Cardinals. Lions are 0-2. They have to win that game. Bears at Falcons. Boy, I don't know for anybody who watched that. That was, you talk about on special teams. When you have an onside kick in Dallas and your team huddles around the ball to watch it cross, to watch the ball cross the 40, and then you start hopping on it, the Falcons and Dan Quinn on the clock to being fired. I mean, even in a COVID year, on the clock. All that to be said, I'd actually take the Falcons this week, and they give 3 points. I would take it. I was wrong about something on my second pick, and we should have known better, I guess. Cam Newton is really playing well for the Patriots. I know they lost that game. I would take the 5.5 against the Raiders.
Cam made it. When that game fully turned, they were going back and forth. When that game fully turned, that was on Cam. It was, but I'll say this too. The Seahawks are very, very good. The Seahawks are very, very good.
The Pats are on their way with Cam Newton. They are on their way with Cam Newton. I would take the 5.5 points. I was, by the way, 1-4 so far. My pick's been.
Yeah, no, Cam is having a solid season.
Yes.
A solid start to a season.
Yes.
Overall.
I hope I'm wrong in this last pick. I'm taking the Bengals plus the 5. And this is all picks on Saturday, September 26th. I know the lines move. I would take the Bengals. This is more Joe Burrow, and I think the Eagles are far worse off than I can ever imagine. I thought it was alarming how they lost to the Rams on Sunday. Alarming. I didn't watch the game fully, but I thought it was alarming how they lost. They're 0-2, by the way. They need that win. I think the Bengals win that game, though. I do. I think they win +5. The game of the week is by far, boy, what a game on Monday night. Chiefs and Ravens, huge game. These are, by the way, every year we always wonder about stuff, whatever else. This is the most clear-cut 1-2 so far seen in the AFC. The Chiefs and the Ravens are by far 1 and 2. Wonderful Monday night game.
It's
Wonderful.
a pick 'em for me.
It's right now at 3.5, which is a pick 'em because the Ravens are given the 3.5 because you always get 3 points being at home. So I mean, they're basically saying they're favoring the Ravens by just a half. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah,
that's how razor thin it is.
I couldn't. There's no way I could call it. No way.
No. By the way, the Chiefs are the best kicker in football. What he did at the end of that Charger game was remarkable. Unbelievable. The Chiefs not only have the best offense, that kicker making a 50-plus yard twice making 50-plus yard kicks. Chiefs are on her. I'm starting to be – Jared, it's a long season. The Chiefs repeating, to me, is becoming a theme for this year, too. It's really in play. It is really, really in play.
Might happen.
It really is.
Yeah, it's hard for me to talk much about what happened last week because I didn't see much of it.
But all that to be said, this is a great slate of games because there's a lot of teams. Again, Vikings, a lot of pressure to win that game, and they're playing the Titans.
I'm really hoping the Texans can get the
They need that game.
Yeah,
they need that game.
I like them needing that game. That bodes well for us.
And by the way, in fairness to the Texans, it isn't like they lost to the Jaguars or anything like that. They lost to the Chiefs and the Ravens. They lost the Monday Night Football matchup.
Yeah.
So it isn't like they've been playing easy competition. Huge game. Huge. I can't state it. Huge game for the Texans. And by the way, I watched bits and parts of that game. I was focusing more on the Chargers Chiefs. The Texans had opportunities to win that game against the Ravens and just couldn't do it. And then as the game went on, the Ravens are suffocating.
I mean, the Texans are who they've been.
They're such a weird team. By the way, they'll beat the I hope I'm wrong. They always beat the Browns. But yeah, it's so true. Anyways, that's the NFL. This is one of the weird times I think the Browns should win. I think we're both alluding to it. This is a bad loss if they lose.
You ain't kidding. This is one of the 3 or 4 that I have on my schedule that in that front 8 of the season that is picked as a win. And if they don't win that one, boy, oh boy, that changes.
Rough Monday morning show.
My outlook for it'll change Monday morning show for sure. I'll be, oh man, don't make me come in and do this show on Monday morning pissed off, please. I don't have it in me anymore, Andy.
Jared's nice and relaxed after needing a little vacation.
Oh,
and now that's the last thing.
Floating on a lake, Andy. I was floating on a lake, hanging out in a kayak. Didn't give a shit. Not worried about nothing. I got to come back, and now I'm worried about the Browns.
Well, speaking about a big,
they're gonna win. They're gonna win big. So I don't care.
Speaking about a big week, let's talk about the Tribe.
Cleveland Indians.
What a week.
What happened?
they are just not okay. Multiple things. 7 seed as of today, September 26th.
Luplo had a game winner, didn't he?
Luplo getting hot again at the end of the year. Back-to-back years.
I didn't think, and somebody, I don't know who wrote it. Somebody just wrote an article about Luplo losing, not even going to.
I saw that.
He's not even going to do anything in the postseason. He won't even be around much.
It's funny you said that. I saw that article too.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I've been harder on Luplo than anybody. Kudos to that young man. And by the way, he did the same thing last year. I will be fair. Maybe this is Luplo.
And put him in the closet until the end of the season. Then bring him out.
I stink for the first 45, 50 games, and then I turn the light on. The Indians have not just won. They have actually sent the Chi Sox are spinning around losing. Which I do want to touch a little bit on that, which that's fun. I hate the White Sox. It's great to see.
Well, it's a thank God moment after you're looking at the Indians that dropped 7 in a row,
just awaken. This is the first time I have goosebumps. I have goosebumps talking about it. This feels like the mid 90s, late 90s Indians. They are there's been some magical wins. And last night being Friday, September 25th, another one. Down 3-1, Naquin walks, Luplow double. I mean, almost a home run off midway up through the wall. DeShields, who had one of the Indians were getting no hit going into the 7th inning. And DeShields had one of the best bunts I've ever seen. I love the bunt, as people know on this podcast. Boom, boom, bunts the ball. It looked like the Indians were dead. They were just too much celebrating beating the White Sox. DeShields rips. I mean, there's singles and then there's singles. He ripped the single, 3-3 game. And then Hernandez, who's been clutch all year, double right down the line, explosion. And that just captivates the week in a way. Look, there's so much things to talk about here. J Ram's walk-off home run on Tuesday. Let's go back there too. That set the tone. And then on top of that, earlier in the day, Jeff Passan writes an article saying, I think J Ram might be the AL MVP. Jared, it's unbelievable. I mean, let's go there too real quick. If you are under a rock, let me lift the rock under. People in Vegas right now, you have to bet $2,500 to win $100 on Bieber winning the Cy Young. Let me repeat that. You have to bet $2,500 to win $100 on Bieber winning Cy Young. Cy Young's being won by Bieber. Cy Young. Lock a Dini. In fact, I would tell you, bet $10,000 to win a few hundred back because they'll be worth it. And J-Ram, Jared, I am a believer in this. There are postcard moments that can win MVPs. I actually think J-Ram's home run on Tuesday, following it up on a Thursday double, it wasn't a walk-up in the 7th inning. I think J-Ram's going to win the MVP.
Home run pitch, bro. You know.
It was gorgeous too. It was unbelievable.
It was gorgeous, and it was gorgeous. It was great watch. I watched the replay of that. That was the only thing that was the funny thing. The only thing that I was able to see is, and usually the video would stop and buffer halfway through. I was able to watch a handful of game-winning videos on my phone as my internet would go in and intermittently throughout my week. Andy, we are now in a position to say that the Indians are hot at the right time, that they are heading into the postseason. They've got, we got two left with the Pirates?
2 left against the Pirates. And by the way, yep.
Did the Cubs win last night?
The Cubs not just won, they destroyed the White Sox. And then, now let's get into
what
this.
Happened to the Twins? What did the Twins do?
They lost to the Reds. They got beat up badly.
Oh, here we go. Now, but the thing is, if we end this tied with the Twins for first place, the Twins win the division.
Because it's very easy. The White Sox won the season series over the Twins. The Twins won the season series over us, and we beat the shit out of the White Sox this year. Right. I like saying that. We beat the shit out of them. So it's just that's why, because the Indians and White Sox are tied, the Indians have the tiebreaker. So if the Indians win on Saturday, the 26th, and the White Sox lose, the Indians can only finish second or first because they will have the tiebreaker in the White Sox. That's how this whole thing is swung. Now,
that's the thing. I think that the way that the Indians are playing right now, it would be beautiful to watch them win the next two and just come in full throttle into that postseason, Andy. And I will say this too: I would love if they got a pennant.
It would be fun to see that. I think that actually has a lot of value this year in this team because it's all leading up to, God, there's so many things to talk about the Indians.
I think it kicks the Twins in the nards like I would like to kick the Twins in the nards after last season and then coming in expecting to walk away with it this season.
Jared, I think it's really kicked the White Sox hard. The White Sox are in a tailspin. Last night, for people who didn't watch it, so last night is September 25th on a Friday. They got just destroyed by the Cubs. The big thing this year is Tim Anderson likes to flip the bat after big home runs. Loves to flip the bat. So last night, when the Cubs hit basically the burying shot over the White Sox, I forget the batter for the Cubs, he threw the bat in Salvatore in the air. Oh, White Sox fans did not like that. The White Sox did not like that. So when that young man came back up to hit in the following couple innings, whatever, he was hit in the ass and the White Sox pitcher was ejected. Let me just say this, White Sox fans, you have been cocky about that Tim Anderson bat shit all fucking year. Karma's a bitch. Karma is a fucking bitch. You want a bat flip and celebrate a bat flip? We love bat flips on the show. I don't care. fucking bat flip. Lindor to Jim Thome, I don't care. It's all great. But when you get bat flipped yourself.
Oh, yeah. Don't be a pissy pants.
No.
No.
I don't want to hear about I
love that shit. It doesn't work. Don't be hypocritical.
Yes.
Don't be hypocritical. Got enough of that going on in the world right now.
Yeah,
Don't be hypocritical.
There is so much of a tailspin in Chicago. When I saw that, it's like, oh, now they're complaining about bat flips after you did a whole segment on NBC Sports Chicago about how Tim Anderson loves the bat flip and talking about how teams need to get over my bat flips. Hey, take it. Take it. White Sox are little having a little problem. And it's fun to see.
Yeah, fine by me. The way that this shapes out, too, we were talking offline, Andy. You're okay. I mean, what's the matchup you want to see in the first series with the Indians?
Right now, I said this. I've said this forever. The Dr. Seuss, no Rays, no A's. The Indians, for some reason, when they play teams, are very analytical driven. And obviously those two teams are with Moneyball, and the Rays are the most analytical team driven, probably outside of the Indians in baseball. Those two teams really play well against the Indians, and I don't like those matchups. I don't like playing against teams that are very similar to the Indians. Now, do I want to play or bring on the Yankees? No. But do I fear the Yankees? I don't. I like that match. I don't love it. I like that matchup. It's not going to be easy. But when you have Bieber on the mound and Plesac and Carrasco to follow, it's not impossible. Right now, it's getting to the point because of the Tribe getting so hot and winning. It will be in Cleveland. But right now, it looks like it's going to be the Indians and Yankees. It's going that direction.
You said it earlier. The Indians looking like the team of the '90s a little bit with the magic at the end of these games and pulling out some wins that we thought wouldn't happen. And the Indians in those years played really well and matched up really well against the Yankees, and that was always fun to watch. So putting the Yankees season to bed would certainly bode well for me and for this team as they move on throughout the rest of the postseason. So I would love to start with the Yankees. I would love to check that box. Bye-bye, Yankees. And eliminate their chance of winning their 28th, 29th, 30th, whatever championship. Knock that off.
You know what? Who cares?
And then move on. And then move on and roll through. Roll, Tribe, roll. Just stay hot. Stay hot.
Here's the way I look at it, too, for all of us Indians fans out there. If you want to win big, which is what we want to do, you're going to have to play the Yankees probably at some point. So why not take them first up? Why not take them, put them in a 3-game series, and let's just see what we can do. I really look at it that way. You're going to have to play. If you want to do big things, you're going to play the Yankees at some point. So play them early on. Again, we all know difficult series. Boy, you talk about controversial things. Not controversial. Boy, minds colliding. Pitching, hitting. I mean, that'll be the whole series. Yankees hitting.
That's where you have to. You've really got to focus on that bullpen.
Big moments for Karinchak. Big moments for Boilermaker, Wickren, and big moments for Hand. Hand has played better this year, but he's still a little shaky, but he always gets the save. So in that spot, that's going to be big for this team. And look, the Indians, if they play the Yanks, if they play anybody, but the Yankees especially, they have to score 3+ runs. The 2-1, 2-0 stuff against the Yankees, I think is going to be unrealistic. You have to score 3+ runs. 2-1, dangerous. Too dangerous against a team like the Yankees. They can hit one out very quickly. So that's the way I look at that. For people who have not noticed, the starting rotation for round 1 is set. Bieber, Plesac, Carrasco. If anybody's shocked by that, I don't know what to tell you. Savali's not going to be starting there, and he shouldn't be. I mean, Carrasco's earned that. He's the veteran. Plesac's your clear number 2, and Bieber's your 1. I mean, that is what it is. I don't know what else to say. And then I want to do 1 or 2 minutes on this. Francona is now in quarantine, and we all know why, because he's preparing to come back for the playoffs.
Right.
I know there's a lot of factors going to playoff games, and we all know that, especially on the field. Francona coming back in that dugout is a huge thing. And Sandy's done a great job. It's not about that. It's about Francona. Francona brings a lot of stuff to this team.
You say it, and even though I know it's happening, when you say it, I get chills. I get goosebumps because I really feel. Here we are, Andy. Have we been in a position to? And we talked about it before the season started. Something about the way that this team is built felt really good for the way that this setup is for this season. Short, roll through it. They had their cold spell. Thank God it didn't stay along for too long. In a regular season, that average that would have been like 23 game losing streak or something.
Something like that.
Something that just made me cringe. But now here they are, 6-game winning streak right there, ready to wrap up the season and head into the postseason. And boy, having Tito back will, oh boy.
Telling you, add some runs, add some wins. It really does. To sum
Especially
it up,
without fans in the stands.
Yeah. I agree. To sum it up quickly, because I could do a whole hour on just the Tribe, to be honest with you. And I think I will save that for Monday.
Okay.
This season has become very special again. It's amazing. You ride the waves. And I guess it brings up to my point that I brought up 2 weeks ago and last week. You will not remember these losses. And that's the reason why I said that. Mm-hmm. Those losses that we all knew was frustrating and mind-numbing. You forget them quickly. This has become a fun time. You can feel the city getting into it. And even at the least, and I think big things for this team, I do. But even at the least, you're going to have the Cy Young Award winner. And I think there's a good 50-50 chance with J-Ram or Bieber winning the MVP. I think you have a very, very good chance. The Indians might clean sweep Cy Young and MVP. I actually think it's going to happen. I think J-Ram's going to win it. I really do.
That's great and all, but man, I want a World Series more than anything.
I do too. There's a long road ahead, especially with the added 4 teams. The long road ahead, but the Indians have a chance. That's why we're talking like this. Of course they do.
They are built for it.
They are built for it. But I'm not naive. A lot of potholes, up and downs. There'll be a lot of moments where we're nervous and we're biting our nails and everything else. But all that to be said, fun weeks ahead. It starts on Tuesday the 29th.
Yeah. And
like I said, I mean, it's funny how things change. Unless the Indians lose the last 2 and the White Sox win out or whatever, it's going to be Indians and Yanks. And I think it's either going to be that or Indians and Twins. I think those are your first 2 round matchups. That's what you're looking at right now. If the Indians can win one more game and the White Sox lose one more, that's what I think you're looking at. Fun times, fun week. And again, kudos. One more thing. Kudos to Luplo. 2 big hits this week. And I'm so happy for J-Ram. So happy for Jose Ramirez. He deserves this, and he's earned this if he wins MVP. He's earned it. Statistically earned it.
I mean, the expectations in the postseason for players like J-Ram, for pitching like Bieber, for players like Lindor, those expectations, look, they're there. They're absolutely there.
Yes.
But if you want to go deep into the postseason, you need the Luplos of the team.
Yes.
You need them.
The Shields, Bunting, case spots.
Whatever, Oscar Mercado, whatever it might be, it's got to start. They have to pick things up in those clutch positions. It's an absolute must. We saw it with the Cubs in 2016, so
it's all big. All this stuff is big, and again, it's exciting. And the Indians are ramped up. Even if they lose 1 out of 2 or they lose the last 2, the Indians are in prime position to do very well. And it's exciting. It's great. It's going to be a fun week. We'll get into that more on Monday.
Holy shit, Andy, I didn't even think about this. I can't go to the games, obviously, but I can still go up to the city.
Yeah.
I might have to go up.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk more about that on Monday morning after the Washington victory over FC and then, the Indians triumphantly going into the playoffs against the Yankees. I like talking cocky, a little cocky today. Let's wrap up on the week of football. By the way, real quickly before we get into I do have some Cap stuff. Chris Fedor wrote a great article on Cleveland.com about the Caps. So I'm going to get a little bit of that. I know we are all, the Purdue flag behind me. Jared's an Ohio State guy. I love Big Ten football. I think it's great the SEC is back. Great games at noon. Auburn, Kentucky. It's a fun game. Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin against the favored Florida Gators. Gators look really, really good. And there's 2 gentlemen who Jared and I are working with a lot, Buddy and Brendan Martin, who are huge Florida fans. And they are very excited about those Gators. Those are fun games. We're a month out for Ohio State. I have not felt the ramp up yet for the Buckeyes. Boilermakers got Rondell Moore back, which is good. And then I am also an Irish fan, so let's get to the Irish real quick. I hope those players who are in COVID-19 are doing okay. They had an outbreak on the team this week. They had to cancel their game against Wake Forest. And it really reminds you how this whole virus is very contagious and everything else. Because the Irish have been one of the more I would say protocol forward thinking teams I've seen, and they are having outbreaks says a lot. Really, really says a lot.
It's a situation with them where you kind of figured it was only a matter of time. Yeah. Although at the same time, the way that other teams and, throughout different leagues have handled it, other teams, it hasn't happened to. So I don't know. I hope everyone's okay. That's Andy, that's at the crux of all of this. When we talk about it, we're excited about the sport.
It's exciting.
Son of a bitch. I hope everybody's okay. Hope that everything works out, because you feel like there's a lot of risk being taken here.
Yep.
Measured risk is one thing, but just understanding that you're worried a little bit about those young kids and their hearts and the issues that can come. But
yep, they are playing. Pac-12's back. Mountain West is back. In fact, the MAC's the only conference that's going dark until spring. So everybody else is back and moving forward. Okay. We'll talk more about that too, I'm sure, Monday morning. All right, real quickly, I can't believe I'm saying this. Cavs, real fast, real fast, like fast. Kobe Altman, quote, "We like where we're at number 5. We're going to get a really good player. We are going to take the best talent," end quote. For people who listen to me throughout the years, that's what the Cavs should do. If it's a guard, it's a guard. If it's a forward, it's a forward. If it's a center, it's a center. Take the best player. Sources are telling Chris Vito or Cleveland.com. You can read this whole article over there. They are really still high on Sexton. I am too on the show. Again, is he a top 10 player in the future? I don't think so. Is he a player that you can build a franchise over? I don't think so. Is he a player you need on your team to win? Yes, you do. Colin Sexton's a good player. Yeah. Do I think he's an elite player? No. Do I think he can be an all-star in certain leagues? Yeah, I do. And that's pretty good. So don't, again, it's almost like Baker. Like, don't crap on Sexton too much. He's actually a good player. The bigger thing is Darius Garland. He really, look, the ups and downs of Darius Garland is going to be a big year for him. He had moments like he did on the road against Minnesota, and then he had those moments where he looked awful against the Clippers at home.
Right.
You just hope he finds more of that touch of gray, because when you see games like he did against Minnesota on the road, you're like, holy cow, this is what we could see here. Him making tough shots in the fourth quarter and winning. And then the Clippers game where he just looked checked out, didn't care.
Young player, tumultuous season.
Yeah. It's a big big year for Darius Garland. The other thing too that Altman said, they are focusing on fixing defense, which I think is great. They finished last. You can go in any analytics class you want to. The Cavs were last in defense, and they know they have to improve there. And that's going to have to be a big focus for this team. Offensively, the Cavs aren't terrible. Boy, defensively, it was a joke. Mm-hmm. So they have to do some things there. They know that. They're focusing on it. And you can tell when they make a statement like that in an article, it's like, not only do we talk about behind doors, we know we have to fix defense. So all that to be said, I'm not naive. The Cavs have a long road ahead, in my opinion. I think not playing has really suffered and hurt this team, in my opinion. But all that to be said, I have not seen any Cavs news in months, Jared. It was nice to see an article yesterday, being September 25th. It was nice to see that. Just something to write.
I watch Kevin Love's Instagram because I like his dog. So that's where I'm at with the Cavs.
I try to be, obviously I'm more upbeat about all these teams at times. I'm being very realistic about the Cavs. Long road ahead.
Oh yeah. I'm patient. I'm not even angry about it.
No.
I understand the situation. It doesn't mean I don't care. I just am not good. It's hard to invest too much of your time. Although granted, it's not even fair to say that because I've invested countless hours on Browns teams that have done nothing but punch me in the stomach. But it's going to take time. We all know that.
It is what it is. I just will say, if we're being honest and real, the Cavs are really below the line on buzz right now. They are just dull and dead. And so to see an article like that, is it going to bring a jolt to the city? Oh my God, absolutely not. It's just nice to see. That's how I'll leave it. It's just nice to see.
Hey, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Cleveland and Beyond, on Twitter @CLE and Beyond, @CLE and Beyond. Shoot us an email, andyandjared@gmail.com, andyandjared@gmail.com, JARID. We are brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out, original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Andy and I are gearing up along with our assistant producer and social media manager, Kaylee Waterhouse, to join Evergreen Podcasts very soon. Can't wait.
Very soon.
Launch of that. We are working on getting that up and running. And continuing to bring Cleveland Browns, Cleveland Indians, and Cleveland Cavs, whether you like it or not, info to you and beyond. So, Andy, final words today.
Shout out to 2 or 3 people. Brendan Martin is the man. I'm working on that show, and we are congruently working with the Buddy Martin show. He set up a watch party for us. Brendan Martin, you are the man. Getting us viewers, giving us eyeballs. Martins are good people. Check out their show. It's obviously Southeastern Conference focused with the Gators, but they do great content. They have great talks all throughout the week. Love the Martins. Big fan of them. Please check them out. And Best Fridays of Football with Terry Bradshaw and Coach Urban Meyer. It's very, very cool stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff, sharing and doing all sorts of things. So you're going to be seeing them on our Facebook page. Yep. They're cool people. Brendan Martin, shout out for the watch party. He's the man. Good people.
We need stuff like that because
great partners. Great partners.
I didn't even think about setting up watch parties.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I, again, can't say enough. Love Brendan Martin. Such a good man, Brendo. Lastly, there's a new show that'll be coming through our thing called Set the Edge with Holly Wetzel. She's great reaction to it. We'll probably put her on this podcast once in a while on Cleveland and Beyond. She is fun. She's fantastic. Set the Edge. Check it out. I'm very excited. Thank you for all the positive feedback. Very, very positive feedback. And to all of those who are new to this channel because of that show, hey, welcome. Check it out. There'll be more content to come out of the ears on this. So it's going to be fun times ahead. And yes, Kaylee Waterhouse, our superstar of superstars. Even though she's a Warriors fan, it's okay.
Dan Monis reminds us, we were talking about those certain players contributing in the postseason. Perez in 2016.
Perez in 16
big contributor to that run.
And Lonnie Chisenhall, who's no longer on the team, but Lonnie had some huge hits.
Well, and let's never forget the Rajay Davis home run.
Oh, fucking rain out.
Fucking
rain out. Fucking rain out. I hate Chicago baseball. I love that the White Sox and Cubs are fighting against each other. More importantly for this podcast, it's exciting to see that the Browns are, somewhat favorites. I mean, they're given 7 points, so they're a heavy favorite in Vegas too. Big week. And, again, you can tell on our faces the excitement about the Indians you'll feel on Monday morning. We'll be back on Monday morning, recap hopefully the victory over Washington FC, and leading into Indians, probably Yankees week. Fun times.
Browns 31, Washington football team 17. Book it. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson. Andy and Jared, Cleveland and Beyond. Talk again soon. Go Tribe.
Roll, Tribe, roll. Bieber, baby.